Hi all, welcome to very late live stream. I will check all the links, all the stream settings, and then we will be back in a second. Topic for today will be, of course, Golang. So I will primarily code or review the code. So this is this idea, and I plan to talk about terminal user interfaces, the library I'm using recently for this purpose, and in general, like how we can structure our project for this kind of applications, like terminal user interfaces and etc. And I will use my most recent project for this as an example. In this video, I'm not going to focus on this project specifically, but only coding part. Later, maybe we can have another session for this project itself. But as I said, let me check settings first, then we will continue. Just a second. So it looks like everything works properly. One thing that I want to test is a sound. It's always a problem. Okay, so it looks like everything is okay. So let me know if something is broken. I will check chat. So as I said, for today, topic is terminal user applications, user interfaces, and my focus will be for today at least this package. It's called tview. The thing is, I use this as a core package for this project, dbui. Maybe let me show this first, and then we can continue. So this is how it looks like. So it's a universal UI, command line based or terminal based UI for databases. So you can have a list of databases, a list of database schemes in this database, and tables, for example. And if you click one, you can use mouse or keyboard. You can review data in these tables. So this is the main idea. It's far away from complete, so it's still in progress. We did some things. For example, it supports MySQL and Postgres, this kind of stuff. But it's still under development, so it's not far away from stable release. Let me put it like this. Yeah. Oops. Go back. So let me turn this to performance mode. So maybe something like this. I want to make code part a little bigger. Okay, so this should do. So let me switch to performance mode. Yeah, so I turned my second string off, so it will not bother me. Okay, so in terms of features, as you can see, I have multiple panels or panes. These are just a list component. I will show codebase in a second. And since it's a terminal application, so right now it is full screen. For example, if I exit, so you go back to the line mode, let's say, and if we run it again, so it will use all the available space. So that's what I call full screen. In this package, it's also called this same. It's a full screen mode. Let me show how I do it in a code base. I want to also review these parts, maybe refactor them a bit. So this is a coding session, of course, so anything can go wrong. Yeah, let's see. So main part that I want to show for now. So this is grid setup and etc. You'll see them, check them in a second. Yeah, so this is what I mean. So when you, so basically in this package you have application instance. So it's called tview application. So this is main entry point, let's say. If you want to start, you use this app application.setRoot. You provide your main component. In our case, it's a grid. We'll check it in a second. And you can additionally provide one more parameter, which is full screen parameter. And you can say enable mouse. So if you want to have mouse interactions, and then run. I believe run is a it's a blocker, like blocking function. So meaning that if I do this and then start, so which will basically call run of this application. So my application will be blocked here. So and then you have this application on the screen. There is quite some challenges because in my case, I also use databases, so you have to somehow manage database query execution. So maybe we can talk about this part specifically later on. Very shortly, they also run in coroutine. You have to make sure that you close these coroutines, etc., etc. So for now, I will skip this part. So today I want to focus mainly on user interface. So that's why maybe let's start from the beginning. So when we saw this application. So this is package itself. I can even run this demo locally, so for us to see how it looks like. Hi, as I said, I will check chat. I see there are some comments on YouTube. Hey, hello everyone. If you have any specific questions, you can also post. I will keep an eye on chat stream. Okay, so as with any Go package, if you want to get started, you do this, go get, then path to the project. This part we discussed a little. So you have your main component, main view, if I use the same terminology, and then you do initialize a new application, then set root for this application. So this is a flag for full screen. If you provide true, it will run in full screen, and then you run. You can also check for errors. I also do the same here. I check, so if something failed, I check and then I show it, and then I exit with non-zero result. Yeah, So this is very simple initialization. I love this part. It is like, well, let me run this locally so we can take a look. I believe I should have a local version. Others maybe tview. Okay, so let's clone. It seems I don't have it locally. So what I'm going to do, I will clone this project and run. So in demos, there is a multiple demos. I will run this presentation one. It basically showcase most of the features. So we can take a look. tview. Okay, so presentation. Go run. You mean, yeah. Yeah, I think I need to run it from another folder. Let me see. Yeah. Go run. No. Yeah. Okay. So this is demo, right? Or presentation. We can take a look what kind of feature it has. So first, a Go package for terminal UI based on GitHub. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this part you actually use. What was the navigation here? Shift top. Yeah. Go back. No. Control N, Control P. Okay, so Control N, Control P. So this T cell, actually use this T cell not dependencies, but in your code base. For example, let me show one example. So T cell is used quite often. I believe for keyboard mappings. So in my version, I have some keyword mappings. Like, let me show. So for example, if I want to navigate directly to tables, I can do Control D, so it will be focused here, and then I can navigate through tables. So I use this, like, if you want to do keyboard bindings or key bindings, so it is also coming from T cell. So this part, it's based on T cell. Is you see it when you do some development for the package. Simple, good for data entry. Yeah, for data entry, for now I use only this part when you can run, for example, queries. But there is also forms. Let's for example see forms. So you can have this kind of UIs in your terminal. And actually, when you check code that you want, you need to have something like this. Like it's very small, right? I mean, it's a few lines of code, and you have a form. Of course, to add some functionality, you need to implement these handlers, like this function here. But the UI itself is relatively simple. Like if you want to just get started. So let's go step by step. So hello world, very simple example where you can set there is a border, some title, Again, you set root element and you execute. Inputs, so I use this one as well. Yeah, so you can enter only integers, so there is a kind of validation here. Yeah, so form, we just saw forms, text, another text. I think this one is a bigger, you can scroll, blah blah blah. Table, this one is a pretty cool, pretty advanced one. For example, we can navigate, have some different versions, for example, select by columns, selectable cells, navigate. Yeah, I think this is just a demo. This is pretty cool. Actually, in my version, it is quite simple. In my usage, it's quite simple. For example, let me open one table. So maybe later in this session we can do some kind of we can refactor some part of this, because right now my table selection is quite huge, right? So you have this big line, white line. It's not user friendly, so maybe I can change this part in a second. So this table is quite compact. So maybe let's say select turnable rows. So I would prefer to have something like this, or if you compare to the selection, right? So this one is more compact. So maybe we can refactor this part. So next is tree. I don't use tree. Actually, this is very valid component, very valid view for me, because another option on UI I had. So on the left side, instead of having 3 different lists, I could have only one list, only one view, which is tree view. And so on top level you have data sources, then you have databases or schemes, and then you have tables. So I could have something like this, but maybe later, or maybe I can provide just like select option, like you can choose between 3 and then multiple lists. This is more close to usual representation I am familiar with, but I think if I check here, so even in Golang you have kind of tree-like structure, so maybe it makes sense. Okay, so let's continue for now. So tree. So next one is a flex, grid. So these two we can discuss in a second, but this is like basically how you can prepare your view or your layout, right? So you can have multiple grids, grid cells, or you can have flex. I think flex is more, you can set more flexible sizes, but I'm not sure. I personally use grid for dbui. Colors, I believe for this you also use tcell package. By the way, let's check this part. It's interesting. So let me open this directory. I want to see what's used for colors. Yeah, tcell. So for colors you also use tcell. Okay, interesting to know. Yeah, so we just did this. So let's continue. And I think there was one more. Okay, so this is all. Yeah. Yeah. I believe there is also a demo by the author of this library. Let me see. or no? Yes, there's a documentation. Mainly, I found myself checking codebase. But yeah, so I remember there was also some kind of YouTube tutorial or something. But anyway, so this is a package I use. Now maybe we can focus a bit on dbui, and maybe even let's try to implement try to refactor this table. So so I want to use this one. So I want to change from this to this compact version. So maybe let's open a new branch. Count branch. Is this dbui? Yes, it's a dbui. Table. So now it makes sense to say a few words about how I structured. So I have main.go in a root directory. It's a place where I check for some flags. You can initialize application by using file, or you can use directly DSN, or let's say connection string, and only have one database connection. So this is I do this in main.go. By this I mean I do these checks and then flags and etc. in main.go. Probably it's not the best place to do it. I have another pull request where I am trying to refactor this part. But main idea is that I have two different things. One is configuration. Basically, you can provide this kind of file, where you can have multiple connection strings, multiple database settings, let's say. And when you open application, you have all this in your application, so you can easily navigate between databases. So this is config part. So first I parse config, so you can find config in your current directory, user directory, etc., etc. So when I have this instance of configuration, I initialize controller. So controller is something for our maybe next sessions, but this is basically controller over different database implementation. You can switch between MySQL, Postgres, or two MySQLs. So this is a responsibility of controller. And then when I have config and controller, I initialize UI application. So this is where UI part starts, like terminal user interface starts. For now, I'm skipping controller and config parts. Maybe later we can discuss them. In UI, in my implementation, so basically what I'm doing is it's an abstraction over tview package that we discussed. And so I did a little split. First, I initialize this application, and then I have another method where you can start. So in initialization, what I'm basically doing, since I have multiple elements, multiple views, I try to set up them. For example, I set borders, I set titles, but more importantly, I set key bindings and event handlers. For example, let's say let's open this. So let's say if I have select event on this table, let's use another table, for example. So when I click enter, for example, so my handlers react to this event, make a request to the database, and preview this, set it on the view. So that's why I need some handlers. So this is this place. And now more UI related thing. So this is where I set layout. As I said, I use grid here. I have rows. I believe, let me see, I don't remember this part exactly, but let me see. Yeah, I have 2 rows. So this part and then this part, and top part I split into columns like this. So for top part, so navigate is this part where I have all these lists, and on right side I have preview and query. Yeah, but this details is not important for now. But this is basically how you can use grid to set up your layout. What I like about this package is that how you define your layout doesn't affect how they should work. For example, I can easily switch places of, let's say, sources and tables. So I can say like sources in here and tables here. In terms of work logic, it will not change much. So it's a cool part about this package. So this is a bit hardcore part. So I have to customize some drawings because of this. So what I wanted when we have a focus on one of the views, I want to make it green, so user can differentiate what's active element now. And I for this I use this after draw function and do some magic here. Probably not the best code, but it does work. So basically I reset all the borders and then set the one which is active. Only way I could find for this, maybe there is a better option, but I have only way I did. So basically on each draw I check what's the current active element. There is a function for this, it's called getFocus. It is an implementation of tview, if I believe. Yeah. So I check what's active element now. So I check this, I do this check, then I reset everything, and I do switch. If it's a table, I set border of table, for example, to green, this one. So now we can move a bit to the preview. So this part, that's what I want to change. So let's say connection refused. Why? Interesting. Postgres. Okay, our connection dropped. Okay, so I had to reset. So this is what I want to refactor. So when I click on tables, I have preview here, and I want to change selection. Let's see how it's done here. Set selectable. Oh, cool. I didn't know this. So I can set header. So first row I can set to be fixed. In my case, probably it will not always work, but let's try. So what I'm talking about, maybe let's open them in 2 different tabs. So this part we can actually set to be fixed. So in my case, this row here can be fixed. So let's say if I have a long data, and if I need to scroll, let's do this. Select from country. It's limited to 30. Yeah. So now if I scroll, header part disappears. So if we set, so I need to find this event. Query, update and draw, tables, item. So this is preview selected table. Yeah, show data. So everything is in show data. This is good part. Show data, yes. So this is how I draw it. So first I receive the data. This is also another discussion, but so all this is a matrix in terms of data structure. So I have a matrix or two-dimensional array of string pointers. And then I use it to draw the table. So I have a data as the first dimension, then row. So it's each row. And I think at the end what we can do, so to preview, one. Okay, and I will do also scrolling part right away. So this selectable part, set selectable. So as I know, this is for, we will check it, this is for rows and this is for cells. So it's true that we want only this part. I just wonder how this can be separated. So I believe this is done here. Set cell, row, column, line. Yeah. So this part is done here. So by doing this, we can make this not selectable. For now, I will skip it. I don't need this. But this is good to know. For example, I can also use the same approach. For example, is this one. If it's string, they can be aligned to the left. If it's integers, they can be aligned to the right, for example. Yeah. So let's first try this header part. Set selectable. Yeah, so I will set true. I believe this is by default, but anyway. And let's restart. Okay, cool. So first change did work. So as you can see, I can, so this part is always visible. So even now if I scroll down, yeah, let's take more items. Let's take 100 items. Maybe another change. Yeah, okay. So if I scroll, header is always visible. This is cool. I wonder if I can see, if I can make scroll also visible. No, okay. At least I don't see it here. Like what I mean is that if I have more than visible data, I can have a scroll here. And it could be visible, but maybe something I can check later. And what I want to do, I want to also have something like this. I want to make the first row also not selectable. Yeah, so I think this is what I need. Select column. I'm trying to check by the demo of the package to see what. So I don't want to have, so I want to still keep first column selectable. In my case, it's a valid because I don't, for example, I don't always have ID. It can be any field, any column. But for first one, it makes sense. So this is what I'm going to do. So let's open. Yeah, so this is the one. New table cell. Yeah, so I will do is selectable true. So maybe I made this part simple, but I think it's time to change it. So set cell, that's okay. So maybe I need to use something like this. Okay, so let me go back to. So instead of new table cell, I will do tview cell, right? Table cell, text, okay, text is cell value. Then I have color, right? So color is a cell color, and is selectable. Is it just what's called? Not selectable. Not selectable. So we need to change this. Let's use the same. Not selectable by default is false. Not selectable. We make it true, and we pass it here. So this is what we need. I hope so. So let's restart. The thing is, I have 0 tests for tview or anything I do on terminal user interface, which is of course a bad thing. Maybe I can. I also checked tview itself doesn't have much tests. But anyway, okay, so now it's cool. So first row is not selectable. We can select rest. And now I can make, so by default I limit venue preview, I limit to 10 elements. Maybe now I can make it a little bit more. Unfortunately, this part is done in data sources, so it's not hard-coded. It's hard-coded. Next step probably will be to make it also configurable at least. So for now, let me change limit to 50. Let's say limit 50. So so now every preview request should return more elements. Yeah. So for example, the departments is a small table. Employees is bigger. Yeah, and now we can scroll. Okay, cool. And now my next step will be to change this. I don't like how it's selected. So okay, so let's commit this part at least. Okay, so let me check how it is done on tview. So I really like this one. So it's very simple. I wonder how you can get the same. I wonder, is it because of the border? Why in my implementation is this so ugly? By the way, I changed limit. Let me check if if it breaks anything. Surface lint. So tests will take a bit longer because I have some integration tests. Okay, so table preview. For a second I will disable border to see how it looks like. Okay, cool. So that was a border thing. So now it's much more compact. Wow. Super. So next step is select it. So when it's highlighted, it's merely visible. So we should make it, is it selection color or something? Set borders color. So we don't need borders color, right? If we don't have border. Employees, yeah. So far so good. Now, is it highlight text or something? So let's check another example from tview. I think it should has example specific to table. What is this? It's a dbui class cdback tables. Any tables? Yeah, cd table. Go run. Okay, there is no selection here. So let me make it selectable. I'm trying to understand if it's something to my configuration. That's why highlight color is a bit different. Or it's something that I missed. So set border, and also let's do set selectable true to false. Oops, not good. Go around. Okay, so it's something that I did because selection, as you can see, it doesn't change. Okay, good to know. So let's turn off border as well. Cool. So now I need to see what I did wrong. Set text color. Okay, so I need to set color. Yeah, it's a color. Okay, not this. Select. I'm checking if there is anything related to colors other than just the text color. Because it looks like I set it somewhere and then it gets a bit messy. Show data. Is it still visible? Yes, it's still visible. Okay. Go back to performance. Okay. So I want to check how I initialize. This is first step. So this is initialization. Come on, go away. So this is initialization. Set borders. Blah blah blah. Show data. Yeah. So I have show data function, which I call every time when I need to change content of the preview. And I also have initialization for preview table. So this is where I want to change. So let me check if I do any other change on preview. Table, come on, table. So I do new table, set borders. I think it's not necessary, right? Set border, set wizard. I guess default is a false, so no need for this. Then I do title, set title, and then set border again. No need. Right, yeah, no need for this. Preview. Okay, so this is only places where I do anything related to preview. Let me check if it changed anything. We didn't do much, but anyway. Employees. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah. So I see now. So this border we need because it is on preview. So makes sense. Set border true, right? Let me check. Yeah. So border for a list, or how it's called. Yeah, for main table itself. Okay, that's okay to have. Employees here. Okay. So now this color, why it is so. Oh, I think I know why it's this bad. Gray. Secondary. Footer. Okay. Footer. Preview. So by the way, what's the default color? I guess key color, set text color. So it's also color white, color yellow, color red. I don't get it. Title, okay. Fixed, okay. Selectable, also okay. What's the value? Let me see. It's a string. Do we do anything because of create? Create. Is this because of secondary text color? Preview. So we have borders color, border color, background color, title color. So no secondary. Is there any secondary? No. Highlight? No. So we set for footer, it's okay. Footer again, footer, color white, color yellow, also okay. Set secondary, yeah, this is repeating. Yeah, I guess I don't do anything about color. I don't customize color anyway. I don't get why it is dimmed like here. I don't get it. Why? Okay, let's check. I will do one more thing and then I will give up. So I believe it's a function of table, right? Set borders. Oops, set selected style. Set a specific set of cells. Sets per default, those are inverted. Okay. So this looks very promising. Style. Well, okay, so let me customize this. Preview. Preview, yeah. Configure appearance, yes. Set style, what was it? New table, set style. Yeah, selected style. Okay, T-cell style. FG, what was it? Yeah, I will do opposite, so it will be color T-cell, Come on, color white, but this one will be black. Color black. Cool. Let me try. Come on. Employees. Yeah, super cool. So now it works. I wonder why it was gray or other color, because I don't remember resetting it really. Okay, let me double check. So now it's fixed. That's a good news. But bad news, I don't understand why it was gray in the first place. Anything color related? Only border color, that's cool, no worries. Here, anything color related? No. Okay, it's a good, yeah, it's an interesting thing. So now it's fixed. Let me also commit this. By the way, did our test pass? Okay, so our, yeah, I was expecting this. So because I changed limit size, some of our tests failed. So let me first commit this one. And what I did, by the way, I think I did two things. Refactor. Yeah, okay. Interface. It was our previous commit. Set custom selected style for preview table. Okay, and now let's fix our tests. As I said, for tests I will have another section, so if you are interested, make sure to join next time. Postgres integration tests. So basically I have integration tests. Whenever I do make test, I bootstrap a Docker with database, with data, and then run my tests against it. And now I need to check this one. So on preview, I expect to have 51. So 50 rows and 1 for header. So same here, preview, preview. Okay. So this is interesting. Yeah, I know. Okay, so cool. Let me do it again. So now it should work. The thing is, for MySQL table, which is already small, so it has only 9 records plus 1 for the header. But for Postgres, I query a bigger table, so it returns also more data, limited to 50. So that's why it was failing. Yeah, so now it works. So let's add also this test fix. Really? Test fix Postgres count limit or something like this. Push git push refactor. Actually, let me also add this one more idea for the topic. GitHub configure GitHub actions for Go CLI app, let's say. So I'm planning to use these issues for exactly like proposing some topic ideas. So this is topics that I'm planning to discuss next time. Next times, let's say. Okay, so let's open pull request, and then we can call a session. Just not now. So it opened on my second screen. Let me move it here. So what we did: enhanced UX for tables. Set okay. I'm more interested in tests. Let me see if they pass. Okay, so tests passed, right? Yes. Cool. Only GraphQL is running, CodeQL is running. It's okay. Yeah, I believe that's all for this stream. If you watched to this moment and come on, what's and want to review, you can review this PR pull request. This is total okay. And maybe one thing to mention is in the video description, but you can also propose ideas. So I will keep everything in this repo. It's attached to the description. In the issues part, you can propose or comment on the ideas. But this is just started, so maybe something for future videos. For now, thanks for watching, and then see